Hi, how was your day? Anybody come or call? You might be wondering, why am I in the cemetery? And what's all this chatter about Alaska? We've got a lot to talk about, so let's get to it.
Once upon a time, not so long ago, in a magical place known as Quartzsite, four women who had just recently met had the audacious idea to go on a road trip from Arizona to Mexico, up through California, and then to Nevada. While we were in Mexico, our cab driver thought it would be funny to take us to see the quote-unquote pretty ladies. But a real-life pretty lady joined us in Nevada. Rebecca made us a party of 5, and she brought along her companion, Charlie. We caught a show, went on a train ride to see the Grand Canyon. So exciting. Partook in a little casino action, and relaxed with our pups around the campsite. We ate lots of good food, and shenanigans were had. Our 3-month trip ended all too soon. But we weren't done. We wanted more. And so we came up with another audacious idea. A road trip to Alaska. But would I even get to go?
Stop.
I stopped for a routine oil change. You know you've got a problem when the first thing out of their mouth is, well, there's no good way to give bad news. They said my universal joints were bad, so I turned to Professor Google to find a mechanic in the area. When I got there, they had a whole different story. No, they said, your universal joints look just fine to us, but your rear differential is leaking and you need new wheel bearings on the front, both sides. Oh my goodness. Well, I thought, if it needs to be done, it needs to be done. And not knowing any better, I went ahead and agreed to have the work done. And so, the waiting began. I got my rig back, but my happiness was short-lived. There was still a terrible vibration in the front end. Third time's a charm? I hope so. Here we are at our third mechanic. Gosh, I hope this is the last one. By this point, we were at Les Schwab Tire Center in Elma, Washington. As you can see, Etoile is a phenomenal supervisor. Next on the hit parade, 4 new tires, front struts, rear shocks, and balancing. However, I met the kindest people in Elma. Unbeknownst to me, one young man had heard that we would be in for a long afternoon. He bashfully approached me and then gifted me with his bag of dog treats. I also had the great pleasure of meeting Jean in the waiting room. She's a fellow nomad, and I did an interview with her. Link in the description below. So that just about brings you up to date. Or does it? I still haven't explained what I'm doing here. Does this mean that my trip to Alaska has ended before it even began? Well, before we get to that, a little bit of history. Did you know that in the 1800s, cemeteries were actually popular tourist destinations? They were essentially the equivalent of today's parks. As a matter of fact, Greenwood Cemetery in New York was almost as popular as Niagara Falls. They truly are beautiful places, and as I'm traveling, I often stop in cemeteries to let Ted and Etoile out to stretch their legs and to give me a break from driving. As I walk amongst the tombstones, I can't help but think of the people who lie below, people who live short lives or long lives, people who loved, people who embraced life, people who would give anything for one more chance to check off one more item on their bucket list. I am not a wealthy person, and the repairs to my rig were very expensive. However, the opportunity to go to Alaska with my friends is priceless, and I wouldn't trade any amount of money for that. And I want to share all of it with you. So please join us as we ramble on down the slow lane.